In this video, I want to share a tough lesson from my recent trip to Ghana. We were doing some screening work, and what got revealed was that the foundation was not leveled. And what this did was it ended up costing me a little extra money that I didn't budget for, and also a lot of frustration. If you've been through something like this before, you know how quickly things can go wrong. Today I'll share what happened and give some ideas on what we can do to ensure that this doesn't happen. Welcome to Ghana Bakweku. Get ready to join me on an exhilarating adventure as I embark on the journey of building what I hope will be a masterpiece I will enjoy living in right here in Ghana, all while living in the diaspora. I'm sharing every twist, turn, triumph, and challenge along the way. Hit the like button, subscribe, and ring the bell to stay in the loop with my latest updates. Let's dive into this journey together. All right, welcome back to the channel. So let me break down exactly what happened. When I went to Ghana this trip, we had to screed some sections of the house, specifically where the doors were going to be installed. And when we did that, to make sure that we were doing the screed properly, my foreman, as he should do, took levels off the floors, and we ended up noticing that the level from in some sections was not really good. Now, because our focus was just on doing the door, we decided to just pay attention to that and not get distracted, because as you guys I didn't have that much time in Ghana. It was just a couple of weeks, so our focus shifted to getting the doors installed, the windows installed, and then once we're finished with that, we came back to look at what would be needed to do the screening for the rest of the house. I knew I didn't have time, so it wasn't something that I was going to be able to finish while I was there, but at least we wanted to have a sense of what it would take. Now, because of the exposure we got, right, the unveiling of the screed being too high, or the level being way off in some places than we thought it would be, we decided to look into it some more. And what it exposed was my original contractor did not oversee the work as we thought he would, right? That is where the problem started. So in the kitchen area, the floor was not level, and because the floor is not level, the rest of the the dining area, which needs to be level with the kitchen, ended up having to take more screed than we thought it would, or it should normally, right? As you guys know, screeding is a couple of it involves a couple of there are some clearances that you have to take. The level itself, one, and also if there are any pipes on the floor, like as you can see in this video right here, you would have to screed to cover the pipes, right? Bare minimum. But as you can see here, there is a slope in this kitchen, and it slopes to the the right corner of your screen, and as it comes up to where you are seeing now, it gets higher. So what that meant was that if we wanted to pick the level, as you can see here, the screed ended up having to be about 6-7 inches thick, right? And because we cannot do a kitchen area which has a step down from the living room, to me it wasn't ideal to have that, because that could be a trip hazard. We decided to take the pains to bite the bullet and do the right thing. As builders, we rely on the skills of artisans, but at the end of the day, it is your job, right? And to some extent, the contractor's job to make sure that the work is done right. Even though the contractor is supposed to do the right thing, it is still our responsibility or your responsibility as a builder to make sure that supervision happens. And if you realize that it is not happening and there are mistakes that begin rearing their head, it's time to make a change. And I would say, as a builder, you should not be afraid to fire someone who's, not doing the right thing. I guess the best thing to do will be to find professional people to begin with, but humans are humans. You can start with someone who's good, and then, for whatever reason, distractions come in. Maybe they took more than one job, and you end up with a situation where they left the site, gave it to these artisans who are essentially working by day, and all they care about is hurrying up so they can get paid their daily wage to do the work. And when that happens, when there's no supervision, mistakes like this are bound to happen, right? So what can we really do to avoid mistakes like this? In my situation, we had to spend more money on more cement than we needed to do for this small space, right? And I was actually telling my foreman Francis that if I was not in Ghana, if I was not on site, and he told me he used that much cement, I probably would not believe him unless I saw the video, right? I probably would not believe them, because the estimate for how many bags of cement we needed to screed the entire project, the living room alone took about 30 bags of cement, right? Just because the level was bad, and also because of the screed here, we bought 20 more bags, and the 20 bags was enough to finish filling in the screed for the dining area, the little space between the dining and the pantry itself, the wet kitchen, and then some part of the out kitchen, right? And as you can see here, the screed is very, very thick, and I was like cringing every single time they poured it, and I looked at the level being put down, and realized how thick it had to go up just to pick a level right. And so here are a few steps I've learned from my experience. First and foremost, I believe we should always ensure that you have a good contractor or project manager present, right, on the site, to make sure that key parts of key stages of the work is supervised, right? Artisans are good. Many of them have skill, but then without oversight, quality will slip, right? Like I said earlier, for most of them, all they care about is finishing their work so they can end their by day, right? So I think a good tip will be, if you can be present at critical stages, be there, right? Because no one can love your work more than you would, or you should, right? That no one should be able to give more care to your product, your project, more than you, right? And especially in my case, once foundation problems happen, the cost it just spirals, right? I'm praying that my situation is just in the kitchen area. I don't know, but we'll find out. But I'm praying that it's just in that side of the building where the slope wasn't, the level wasn't taken, and the slope, ended up being the problem that we had to fix, right? Because of the level issue, I guess the next thing that I could probably recommend is, apart from supervision, to make sure that the right tools are used, right? These days, there are laser levels that can be used, right? That can be used to pick up the appropriate levels, because if you use a level, just like this, static mercury levels, sometimes the levels end up being off, and if you use the wrong level, then the wrong level to pick your level, I'm saying level too many times, sorry, you will end up with what you thought was correct, but it ends up being wrong in the long run, right? I think, for me, the biggest part in this, like I was saying to my foreman, that if I wasn't there, I wouldn't have believed that we use that much cement, is communication, right? If you demand videos, even if you cannot be there, demand videos, right? Demand video calls of important stages. If you can have a person who, for lack of a better phrase, like a personal assistant, right? And in my case, it's my cousin Andy. He is on these people, and sometimes he's on them harder than I am. It was amazing watching him, grill them for things on site, like being careless about, using things and not cleaning it up after their daily work. So if you have someone like him who's like, who basically is vested in the project and takes, it as seriously as you might, then, they'll be able to catch things go wrong before they do go wrong, right? If you catch things like this early, then you don't have a problem, right? For me, this was really tough. It was a tough lesson. I thought we're just gonna, easy screed and be done, but I'm learning from it, and I'm just, if I were to do this again, there are things that I've done now that I'll do different. If you haven't started your project yet, or if you still have some major parts of the project, please be on it. Be on top of things. Make sure you are part of the process every single step of the way, right? Like I said earlier, no one will have more vesting in your product or your project than you will, right? If you're a builder, don't hesitate to ask your contractor the hard questions. Keep an eye on the details. Make sure that they report to you. Make sure they are there supervising and reporting to you every step of the way. Otherwise, you end up with situations like I did. Another thing, if I were to build again, what I probably would do is I wouldn't run wires on the ground. That affects screeding overall, but that's not the main reason for this one. It's just that someone left work to people that they should not left them to, right? So thank you for watching this video. I appreciate you being part of this family. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do me a favor, hit the subscribe button, share this with other people, hit the like button so the algorithm also forwards it to others to watch it. All right. If you have other tips that I didn't mention, please drop them in the comment section. Someone else might be reading it and learning from you. I appreciate you all. Thank you. Bye-bye.